HYTALE has 6 main zones and 4 of them currently have been announced. Each of the 4 announced zones are expressed by one of the known elements in the game. The 4 announced zones each have their own name. Zone 1 is Emerald Grove, Zone 2 is the Howling Sands, Zone 3 is Borea, and Zone 4 is currently known as the Devastated Lands. This leads us to a question. What does HYTALE have in store for us for Zone 5 and 6? Today, we're going to be taking a look at the 2 unexplored and unannounced zones. If you guys enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting that like button. It really just shows all the support and it's awesome. Thanks guys so much for that. And also do it because why not? Other than that guys, enjoy the video. As previously mentioned, HYTALE has announced 4 zones, but these 4 are not the only ones that you'll be able to explore once we are able to traverse through the infinitely generated land of HYTALE. In January of 2019, HYTALE released an Introduction to World Generation blog post. In this blog post, we get to see in great detail on how the world generation of HYTALE can work in a few of the zones. A key highlight in this blog post was an image called the World of Orbis, where for the first time we get to see that there are more than just 4 zones. We can still see that there are still 2 zones that HYTALE has yet to announce. For this video's sake and based on the other zones, I'm going to be calling these 2 zones Zone 5 and 6. First, we're going to be talking about Zone 5. This mysterious zone seems to be covered by a lightning cloud or some sort of storm. Some HYTALE fans think that this lightning cloud is just to block us from spoilers, but I personally believe that this Zone 5 correlates with the lightning element. This just makes sense because each of the announced zones have their own element that relates to them. If you guys don't know, Zone 1 is represented by the earth element, Zone 2 is represented by the wind element, Zone 3 is represented by the water element, and Zone 4 is represented by the fire element. If we follow this path, then we get Zone 5 represented by the lightning element. There has also been a theory going around that Zone 5 could be the floating islands that we see in the dungeon entrances concept art, also found in the World Generations blog post. This theory has a lot of logical sense because we see Zone 5 covered in lightning clouds. With clouds, you have the sky, so there is a possibility of a completely different ecosystem that inhabits the zone that all live in the air. As cool as this would be, I do not think that the floating islands will be the case in Zone 5, because in that floating islands entrance concept art, we see the mark of the wind element, which just leads me to believe that this entrance will be in Zone 2 as maybe some sort of side quest, or maybe some like main story quest. In my opinion, I think Zone 5 will be broken up into 2 vastly different parts. For this video, I'm going to be calling them the outer core and the inner core, or something like that. I'm not really too good with names. The outer core can be completely uninhabitable, but once you get through the deadly lightning storm, you enter a paradise. This gives me Journey to the Mysterious Island vibes. If you guys haven't watched that movie, it's got Dwayne Johnson in it, it's amazing. And it ties well into the story as we assume that Varen and his army are trying to corrupt and take over Orbis. We all know that Gaia is dead or completely drained of her power. Your mission as a player is to go to Zone 5, get something important in there like a lightning crystal to accompany the other 4 element crystals to awaken Gaia and battle Varen's army. The lightning cloud is around Zone 5 and could be a way of protecting the paradise and keeping the army of Varen out and stopping from taking over the 5th element. But another theory could be also just that Varen's way of protecting his zone, which is Zone 6. Just like Zone 5, we know very little about Zone 6. We don't even know if it'll be called Zone 6. Just like Zone 5, there have been many theories about Zone 6 and what it could be like. If we give Zone 5 the element of lightning, we have to give Zone 6 the element of void because it is the only element without a zone yet. In the World of Orbis concept art, Zone 6 is covered by dark clouds. There is no lightning in sight, but if we take a closer look, we can see some faded green-yellow circles and a little more purple vibrant glow at the top. Coincidentally, purple and yellowish green are the main colors of Varen. Wow, who could have imagined? What a good coincidence. I believe that Varen, or the source of Varen's creatures and magic, are based in Zone 6. There are also theories that Varen's power comes from the planet Nexus, but that'll be addressed in another video. If these 2 zones are beside each other in-game, then my theory about the lightning defending the paradise could potentially be true. What if Gaia hid something in Zone 5 and Varen wants it, or maybe Varen has the first 4 element crystals, which we know is earth, wind, water, and fire, and now is trying to get into Zone 5 to get the 5th and final element, which is lightning. All of these are possibilities, so I'm currently not ruling out any potential theories for Zone 5 and 6. There is another theory that I want to talk about though. It lies along the wall of the lightning protecting Zone 5. How cool would it be if the elements are reacting to the slumber of Gaia and the lightning element is doing everything in its power to protect itself from Varen, creating a deadly storm which keeps out anybody? I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I think it would be such a cool aspect to the game, and I would do literally anything to master the lightning element because, you know, I'm the Flash. Next, I want to talk about how we can traverse through the lightning clouds of Zone 5. I'm going to take inspiration from the game Arc Aberration in this sense. In Arc Aberration, there is a red zone / pink zone. This zone is drowned in radiation, and if you go in there without a special radiation / hazmat suit, you will die instantly or very quickly from the radiation. I can see HYTALE doing something like this. Currently, we do know that there is a wall surrounding the paradise made of lightning clouds, and so far, there are some cool pieces of armor that we can make by forging metals. Metal is a very conductive material. Conductive means that electricity can pass through it easily and build up a charge. This is why you get a shock when you touch certain metal items in the real world. I think it would be super cool if we can create some sort of insulator armor that can protect us from being electrocuted from the lightning of Zone 5. A good example of this could be wood armor. We can probably easily attain this armor from maybe the Quebecs, and it probably won't be the strongest armor, but it'll probably help you from not being electrocuted every single time from entering Zone 5, just like you would if you were wearing some sort of like conductive iron armor or some sort of metal. Wood is considered an insulator, which means that electricity has a hard time passing through it. I would like it if it would be extremely dangerous to still attempt to traverse through Zone 5, even with the wood armor. Just because you're wearing insulated armor doesn't neglect the fact that you can't be electrocuted, because we know that lightning takes the quickest possible path to the ground. So if you are the tallest object, lightning has a better chance of hitting you. This is why you see so many tops of trees and roofs of buildings getting struck by lightning. I would love to see some high rocks or some tall dead trees that you have to navigate through while trying to not get struck by lightning. I feel like it would be a cool learning aspect for the game while teaching kids the dangers of lightning. Once you make it through the lightning storm, you are met with the beautiful and rewarding paradise, or as I like to call it, the eye of the storm. It's just little things like this that can really change HYTALE for the better and give you as the player an extremely immersive feel and a challenge that most will likely enjoy. There is a background on one of the pages on the HYTALE website that shows us some sort of image with Zone 6 look and colors. This image shows us in very dimly colored background of some sort of mountain range. The highlights of this image are the green liquids that flow down the mountain and the bits of purple glowing orbs that we can see flying around. This image is just screaming Zone 6 vibes to me, because we can see the exact same colors that I pointed out before, that is in the World of Orbis concept art. If you enhance this image's brightness to what I have on screen right now, there is no doubt in my mind and nothing that can change my mind that this isn't Zone 6. This is where I believe the source of Varen's power comes from and where a majority of his army will most likely come from. Some could argue that this image is from the planet Nexus, but I have a theory that Varen once inhabited Zone 6, but got banished to the Nexus around the same time Gaia entered her slumber. Zone 6 is still raging with the corruption of Varen, and is still the main source of his power. I would absolutely love it if we can lead an army into Zone 6 to stop the source of Varen's corruption and possibly prevent him from making a grand return back to the planet of Orbis. Unlike the storm of Zone 5, you'll probably need the strongest armor possible to navigate through this zone, because there will most likely be a ton of void creatures ready to attack and defend their zone. You will possibly need thorium armor at the minimum to survive in this zone, but having a full set of thorium will most likely be a challenge to the player. If I had to take a guess, I would say cobalt or maybe some unannounced metals or sets of armor that are possibly better than cobalt would be the requirements to navigate throughout the zone without much trouble. I have many more theories about Zone 6, but I'll make a video showcasing them soon. So guys, that is all I want to say for this video, and that's all I have to talk about for Zone 5 and 6. I really hope you did enjoy these theories, because I had a blast making it. If you're still watching this video, comment lightning. Yeah, do it. Comment lightning, because that's what we talked about a lot in this video. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.